Real is made for the kids of Wisconsin by the people at Wisconsin Public Television and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Major funding for Get Real is provided by the National Science Foundation, supporting education and research in science, mathematics, and technology. In cooperation with Marshfield Children's, care for kids from birth through adolescence at Marshfield Clinic and St. Joseph's Hospital. The foundation of the Wisconsin Automobile and Truck Dealers, giving a boost to great ideas for Wisconsin. And the Humphrey Foundation.
3, 2, 1.
Get real.
Get real.
Real cool.
Yeah! Are you ready?
To get real!
I'm Shannon Lowe.
And I'm Derks. Get Real travels all over the state, bringing you cool stories about Wisconsin kids.
Along the way, we'll check out neat places that you might want to visit too.
Today we're at Discovery World Museum of Science, Economics, and Technology in Milwaukee.
If that sounds a little intense, don't worry. We're talking Major League Fun.
But before we get too far into the cool stuff here, take a look at some of what's coming up in today's show.
We'll go sailing on Lake Superior with some kids who spend their summers living on an island.
We'll also meet some kids who are making their communities better places by doing puppet shows. The secret is in what the puppet shows are about.
And reporter Bertrine DeKaiser goes behind the scenes at a wildlife sanctuary to find out how injured wild animals in Wisconsin are cared for.
But first, a little football action. Every summer, the Chicago Bears leave Illinois for a while and come to Wisconsin to hold their training camp.
The camp is in Platteville, and the ball boys are right in the middle of the action. One of them is Jason Brooks, and he told Get Real what it's like to work for an NFL team.
Well, first we wake up at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we go eat, and then come here and start the work. We head out to the field and set up the field for the morning practice, which starts at 9 o'clock. Our responsibility is to get with our coaches during the practices and get whatever they need, like sometimes they'll need balls and like different dummies to use during the practices and stuff like that. Just to keep you busy with something to do. Quarter to 12 or 12 o'clock we'll be out and then go to lunch, and then we get about a 2.5 hour break. Then we come back like right now and go to work again and get ready for the afternoon practice.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
I work with Coach McGinnis. He's a linebackers coach, and basically what I do for him is have footballs ready that he needs for his drills and cones ready for his drills, and sometimes stand-up dummies, stuff like that. We're always doing something. They always make sure we have something to do during practice, so you really never have any time to do nothing because you're always doing something out on the practice field.
Slam it, slam it, slam it, slam it.
Yeah, there's a big responsibility because if you're not doing what you're supposed to, then the players can't get what they want, or the coaches won't get what they want and stuff like that, and that might mess up the whole practice, and you just got to be very responsible to do this job. I think the best part about having the job is probably getting to know the football players, because not many people get the opportunity to do that at all. So it's real fun and exciting to meet all the players. Almost anyone has a chance to be a ball boy, because what you do is write a letter into the equipment manager, and he goes through them all, and he picks about 12 or 13 of the best letters. And those people are the ones that get to come to work during the training camp. It's real exciting.
Like Jason said, most of the kids who work at the Bears training camp get the jobs because of the letters they write. But Jason had a special reason for wanting the job. His dad is the defensive line coach. After talking to us about being a ball boy, Jason told us how proud he is of his dad and how hard his dad worked to become an NFL coach.
I think it's really cool because it's something that he's always wanted to do before, and he's had chances before but just didn't get the jobs, and now he's finally here. He coached college for 16 years. His goal was to coach in the NFL someday, and now he's here coaching for the Bears. I like my dad's career because it's real fun and exciting to go to the games and stuff. And like I said before, to meet all the players and being around the team all the time and stuff like that. It's really fun and exciting. If you want a career that's hard to get, I just say keep on trying and don't give up.
This Wisconsin town is full of clowns. There are clown garbage cans, clown posters, and even a clown museum. Inside the clown museum is the Clown Hall of Fame. Sometimes there's even a performance.
Put your hand on there, say ooga googa.
This town is nicknamed Clown Town, but that's not its real name. Do you know where in Wisconsin Clown Town is? See if you can figure it out, and we'll let you in on the answer later in the show.
The Health is Wealth section of Discovery World is all about the human body and how it works, like this model of how the lungs work.
Get Real reporter Bertrine de Kaiser has been doing a little health research of her own. She visited a wildlife sanctuary to find out how injured wild animals are cared for.
Everyday wild animals are injured. If they're lucky, they're found and brought to a wildlife sanctuary, like the Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary in Green Bay. Would you describe some of the animals that you have here?
Many of the common animals that people find throughout Wisconsin in the woods and fields eventually find their way to the wildlife sanctuary. Every year we receive over 2,500 animals from the public, injured and orphaned animals. And we mainly can do the rehabilitation, strengthening the animal so that it's able to be released back into the wild, because that's our real goal, to see the animals released back into the wild.
The animal hospital at the wildlife sanctuary gives most of these animals a second chance. This owl has a foot injury and can't hunt.
The first problem we have to address with this bird is its weakness and the starvation. And basically it's on a very liquid, easy to digest diet.
Once it's healthy, this owl will be released. But some animals can never be returned to the wild because their injuries are too bad. This cougar has a hip injury, so he can't run very well.
But that's one of the ways we can give him exercise and exercise that hip so that the muscles become strong enough to hold the bones in place.
If he were released, he couldn't hunt and might starve. So, he'll always live here.
Very
But this owl is healthy and ready to fly away today.
An animal in the wild is like a highly trained athlete. They have to be in really good condition in order to survive. They're creatures that share the earth with us, and they have a place here too. Okay, you have them?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what we're going to do now?
What?
We're going to bend down like this and throw him up into the air.
Okay.
See how he does. Okay, ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
If you'd like to help injured wild animals, the first thing you should know is to be careful. Don't get too close. An injured animal can be dangerous. Contact the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. They'll have information on what you can do in your area.
You might also want to read this book. It's called Wildlife Rescue by Barbara Ford and Stephen Ross. It's about what one family does to help injured wild animals heal so they can return to their homes in the woods. Wildlife Rescue is in the library, so why don't you check it out?
There are also a lot of movies about different types of animal rescues. Dominic checks out one of them in this week's video review.
Get Real presents a movie review.
Hi, I'm Dominic, and if you're looking for a good movie to rent, I'm here to tell you what to pick and what to pass. Today we're checking out Free Willy. It's a story about an orphan boy who makes friends with a whale named Willie at an adventure park. The interaction between Jesse and Willie is fun to watch. During the making of the movie, the actor and the whale actually became friends, so they aren't just acting.
There you go. There you go.
Free Willy isn't as good as some other animal movies. The acting could have been a lot better, and the plot is really predictable. Still, there were some good parts, like the scenery and the spectacular footage of whales. I especially like the underwater shots and the point of view shots from the whale's perspective. Since we're talking what to pick and what to pass, I think there's enough good stuff in here that you just might want to check it out, especially if you like animal movies. I give Free Willy a 50% Dominic approved.
This is a water wheel. It's connected to a generator, and when you work it, you can tell how electricity is made. You can adjust the flow of water to be faster or slower, to generate electricity more efficiently depending on the demand. This is cool because it gives anyone who comes here hands-on experience with hydroelectricity and the power of water.
Some Wisconsin kids are getting another type of experience with the power of water and the power of air. Bobby Hartzell and Hillary Keller are members of the Madeline Island Junior Sailing Club. Madeline Island is on the edge of Lake Superior, and that's where Bobby and Hillary are learning to sail.
I like sailing because almost all my life I've lived by a lake, and I've just sort of grown up on boats. My dad helped me get interested in sailing by bringing me on his boat when we first had it and bringing me to classes like this and stuff like that, and just helping me go on sailboats and get me interested.
Sailing makes me feel really neat because well, you're out there and you can see the water and stuff, and you're not going as fast as a motorboat, and it's really peaceful and calm.
I think this nice thing about sailboat is it's a tad bit more challenging. It's not just steering and letting the motor do all the work. You have to pull the sail up so it's in the right place, and then you have to steer it, and then you have to change the sails around so you have the right sails at the right time in the right place. It's important to know where the wind is coming from, because if you don't have wind, you won't have power, and if you don't have power, you won't go.
Everybody know where the wind is coming from now? Oh, look up on the rigging. Do you see that little white thing dangling there?
Yeah.
That's called a telltale, and it is dangling directly downwind. So, point to the wind, everybody. Look at that thing and then point to the wind. Yep, right there.
It's important to know the parts of the boat so that other people on the sailboat know what you're talking about. When you steer the boat, you hold on to the tiller. The tiller is attached to the rudder, and the rudder goes into the water. And it's the rudder that turns the boat.
The thing I like best about sailing is controlling the boat, because that's fun, but it's also really confusing because if you push the rudder one way, then the boat goes the other way, and so it's kind of opposite, and it's hard to learn at first.
Okay, let's tack, meaning we're gonna turn the boat into the wind and right around. We're gonna shift the sails from one side of the boat to the other.
I think kids should try sailing because it's really fun and you learn a lot of stuff, not just about sailing, but like about the lake or the ocean or the sea that they're in.
If you live by water, you're wasting a lot of fun if you don't sail or go out on boats, because that's one of the funnest parts of living on a lake. It's fun to get out there and go on a boat.
Have you figured out where in Wisconsin Clowntown is? If you said Baraboo, that's a pretty good guess. Baraboo is the birthplace of the famous Ringling Brothers Circus. Baraboo is also the home of the Circus World Museum, but Baraboo's nickname is not Clowntown. Here are some hints to help you find the real Clowntown. The town is known as the 19th century circus capital of America and is the birthplace of the greatest show on earth. Keep trying to figure it out. The answer is coming up in just a few minutes. By the way, the idea to include Baraboo in our Where Wisconsin map comes from Brenda Moriarty. She lives in Baraboo, and she wrote us a great letter explaining why her town is a cool place to live.
Brenna's letter is just one of a bunch of great letters you guys have sent us. Thanks. We also have one this week from Jennifer Edgerly. Jennifer lives in Verona, and she asks, what would you think about having school all year long without stopping? So we went and asked 5th graders at Marquette Middle School in Kewanee.
And I think going to school all year round is a good idea because you wouldn't forget your math and reading.
You'd get to see your friends more often and you learn more, but it'd also be bad because you wouldn't get much vacation time.
And I think that going to school all year round is a bad idea because during the summer when the weather is nice, you wouldn't be able to concentrate on your homework.
I would like to go to school all year long because it's a lot more fun. You can learn a lot more stuff and talk to your friends.
I think going to school all year round is a bad idea because in the summers it would be too hot.
I wouldn't be able to watch cartoons in the morning.
School budget will go up for shipping kids to school and back to school and giving them lunches.
You wouldn't get to go on vacations as much.
And I think going to school all year long without stopping wouldn't be very good because I'd have to get up a lot more mornings really early.
That's what we think!
If you have a question you'd like to get other kids' opinions about, write us a letter. Grab a pencil and a piece of paper now, so you'll be ready when we give you our address later in the show.
This is a lever. By experimenting with different lengths, you can see how lifting a heavy load is made easier. It's just a tool people use. People with disabilities also use tools, like hearing aids or wheelchairs, to help them do things. But some people don't understand what it's like to have a disability or how to act around people who do. Some Western Wisconsin kids are helping people understand by putting on puppet shows. The puppets represent people with different types of disabilities, and the shows answer a lot of different questions.
The Junior Collection is a group that meet and plan activities and tell people about disabled people.
Some deaf people use speech and lip reading. Jay uses speech and sign language. Deaf people use whatever works best for them.
Kids that come to see the plays, we want them to not tease other kids that have the disabilities.
Our message is that disabled people are just like you and they can do almost everything that we can do, but some areas they need help.
Mitch has brain
uniform for preschool kids up to 4th grade.
Usually the younger the kids are that we do the puppet shows with, they don't tease the other people that have disabilities.
I used to think it was funny. I don't like to hear that anymore. It hurts feelings, and Corky is one of the friendliest kids at school. There were plays that were written before, but they're old. Sometimes we just update them.
We just added new things that made it more like the 80s and 90s.
You guys have extra credit.
No, you did say that. I'll tell you this anyways, that it's going to be for extra credit.
This puppet is Corky, and in our play, he's vision impaired. Lots of kids ask me how I do things. He has a note from his mom, and he drops it on the playground, and this other person picks it up and asks him a bunch of questions on how he can read it. Just like you learn how to read. I have a reading teacher. He teaches me to read the Braille bumps the same way you learn to remember the words that you see.
This is the main puppet I've been working with.
How do you eat?
My arm goes up the back, and there's a bar right about here. I put my hand over that, and there's like a little thing I can move up and down. That's the mouth. There's these little metal things in back that we get to move the hands with.
This one, you need 2 people to function them. You need one for the mouth, and the second person has to know how to sign. So you have to go through all the scripts and sign it. Well, I feel I'm accomplishing telling the kids that the disabled people aren't helpless and they can do a lot of things.
There's a lot of cool stuff here at Discovery World. What's really neat is the science behind how the exhibits work.
A good example is a spinning chair. One person sits in the chair and another person gives it a good spin. If you stick your arms or your feet out, you slow down. Then when you bring them in, you speed up. There's no motor or anything in the chair, so the change of speed is caused entirely by where you put your arms or legs in comparison to the center of your body. Why do you think that is?
This is the same principle involved when a figure skater spins. If her arms are away from her body, she spins more slowly. When she pulls them in tight, she spins faster.
The science term for this is angular momentum.
Impress your friends with that one.
Angular momentum is also the main reason why a top stays standing when you spin it.
Or why it's easier to balance on your bicycle when the wheels are going around than when it's standing still.
If you want to know more about angular momentum, check with your teacher. Maybe together you can come up with some cool spinning experiments for your whole class.
That was fun, but I'm a little dizzy. I'm going to take a break while you check out this next story. It's about 9-year-old Chelsea Tabor. She's the goalie for the Eau Claire Riverside hockey team.
I'm Chelsea Tabor, and I'm a goalie. Goalies wear a lot of equipment that other players don't get to wear. My favorite piece of equipment is the blocker, and it's used to block pucks that you can't reach and are up high in the corner, and you hold the stick with it too. This is my helmet, and it has a neck protector so you don't get hurt in the neck. And this is my mouth guard, and it helps so your teeth don't fall out. And it has a lot of padding in here so that in case the puck hits, it won't hurt. These are my leg pads. They have a lot of protection because this is where most of the pucks hit me. When I first started being a goalie, it was scary because the pucks were coming really fast. But now I got used to it and it's fun. A game is different from practice because you get a lot more nervous and there's a lot of people watching you. I had to write a book for an assignment, so I decided to write about hockey. We went out on the ice to warm up. The face-off was there. We got the puck. First, we skated down the ice. Travis shot the puck. We missed. Then, spat! We scored on a rebound. Wow, we were all happy. Last year, the coaches gave me a nickname, and it was The Wall. They named me The Wall because I stopped a lot of pucks that year. Last year, I was playing a game, and I stopped all the pucks that the other team shot, and they were pretty mad. But when they found out I was a girl, they were really mad. This is the trophy that we won for getting second place last year. If you're a girl and you really want to play hockey, then you should try it.
If you said Clowntown is Delavan, you're right. Delavan is in Walworth County, in the southeastern part of the state. In the 1800s, 28 different circuses spent the winters in Delavan. So there were hundreds of clowns practicing their acts. That was when the famous Barnum and Bailey Circus was formed, and it was called the greatest show on earth. So, even though Baraboo has the Circus World Museum and is Wisconsin's most famous circus town, it's Delavan that will always be Clown Town.
If you think your town should be on our Where in Wisconsin map, write us a letter and tell us why. Send your letter to Get Real, 821 University Avenue, Madison, Wisconsin, 53706. When you write to us, you'll also become a member of the Get Real Kids Club.
Well, that's all for today's show.
It's been an electrifying experience.
Until next time, always remember to
Get Real!
Major funding for Get Real is provided by the National Science Foundation, supporting education and research in science, mathematics, and technology. In cooperation with Marshfield Children's, care for kids from birth through adolescence at Marshfield Clinic and St. Joseph's Hospital. The foundation of the Wisconsin Automobile and Truck Dealers, giving a boost to great ideas for Wisconsin. And the Humphrey Foundation.
Get Real is made for the kids of Wisconsin by the people at Wisconsin Public Television and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.